I do my best not to do this, but like I definitely go with Jordy on this one. Like,
What do you mean you do your best not to do this? I make very good points, and you can agree with me whenever you want.
No,
he's anime team, man.
He's neutral. He's neutral.
I think she's. Alrighty, I think we're good to go, fellas. Give her hell. It's on you guys.
You're gonna give us the Wayne's World.
Wayne's
counting?
World. We're going live in 5.
I love you, man.
4.
Yeah, I can't even take you seriously. All right, fuck you. Here we go.
Welcome to Fuck You.
Welcome to fuck yeah. Welcome back to Anime Shmanime. I'm your host, Mikey Lee, and
I'm Jordy Hedderwick, your resident Shweeb.
yeah, Shweebs. And we got our local senpai.
Yo.
Yeah, Jay. So,
What are we talking about today?
well, first of all, fucking spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to our first episode or episode 0, where you meet the team, every single episode is going to be a spoiler. So, but today,
We're talking about
your name. What's your name? What's your name?
It's Mikey Lee.
wait, that's my name.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Weird how this movie works like that.
Right? but I don't know.
I don't know who I am.
I don't know.
So your name?
But can you write it on my hand?
No, I won't. Okay, we're getting far ahead of ourselves.
okay.
Your name
Yeah. Okay.
is a gender-bending Freaky Friday with a time travel twist.
This is a great
Prove me
summary.
wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
No,
You're just stuck now.
Yeah. Okay, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
But it is a fucking love story.
Yeah,
at
it
the
is,
core.
for
At
sure.
the core of
Absolutely.
it. Right. And so whatever gender bendy thing you want to do to it,
Yeah.
right, it's still gonna make you cry. And if you didn't cry, you're a fucking monster.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Did you cry?
No, but I'm not a monster because if
Yo.
we want to talk general thoughts right off the top here,
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie, dude.
Oh, you did.
I loved this movie, dude.
Wow!
Yeah.
Okay, my Shweebs, my Shweeb army. Episode 2, we got one.
Dude,
We got one.
like the genre of anime aside, maybe one of my favorite movies of all time. Right now, especially because I just watched it.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about it.
Wow.
Dude, this movie's unreal. So good, dude. You hit it, knocked it out of the park.
I am so surprised because you know what's
Really?
funny too? Like, I know that Spirited Away was kind of up for you. And
I love that movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I was actually kind of surprised whether or not this was going to hit.
It hit really hard, dude.
Yeah.
Really hard, yeah. And like, I'll
But
say
wait,
too,
you said you didn't cry though.
no, but I gasped audibly a few times, man. Yeah, like I had to clutch my shirt and gasp a few times.
Okay, so you're not fully like cold-hearted.
No.
But you're
I'm a little hardened.
a little hardened.
Yeah, sure,
a little, yeah. So you're not ice. You're just like stone.
Yeah.
Maybe gravel.
Okay, sure, whatever you want to call me. To contrast this with episode 1 Soul Eater, like I feel we've outlined a spectrum of anime that really like everything else is going to fit in between those two shows from now on.
I don't know about that, man. Because like anime, yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, so far, the point being, we had one that I really disliked.
Yes.
And one that I really fucking loved, dude.
Yeah,
Really
okay.
loved. Like, I watched it twice already.
Oh, you watched it twice?
Yeah. And I'm watching it again on Sunday because I'm convinced my lady is going to love it. So I'm going to watch it with her.
Okay, so I was wondering
Yeah.
if you know your lady watched it with you. So
No, but she's going to.
she's going to.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So happy.
Yeah,
So happy
I know. I'm like, I'm actually legitimately surprised right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, dude, like,
yeah.
be prepared. There are some things I'm going to bring up, some
Fuck you.
issues. But I'll
No,
be the
we-
first one to admit, dude, that I'm nitpicking
Yeah.
a little bit.
A
And
little
I know
bit?
I'm going to because
Yeah.
I'm watching these titles with a
Yeah.
critical eye. That's kind of what we're doing.
yeah, that's true.
You know what though, dude? Like I purposely like chose this knowing that you couldn't fully hate it. Like
Yeah.
I honestly like I challenge anybody that hasn't seen this movie yet. First
To
of all,
hate it.
definitely go fucking watch it. But like,
Yeah, please watch it.
If there is not one thing in this movie that you can't find to appreciate, there's
It's
something
true.
wrong with you. Like there is so much to appreciate in this film. Like
Yeah.
so much going on, and I just knew something was gonna hit. I just didn't quite expect all of it to hit like a ton of bricks, which I'm
Dude,
so happy.
it really did, dude. It hit like a Sharpie falling to the floor.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm super happy.
Yeah.
Right. I know you're gonna bring some garbage to me, which is fine. Which is
One
fine.
man's garbage, dude.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I know the path that we're on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we get into that, let me hit you guys with a little breakdown on
Okay.
what we're talking about here today.
Sure.
Just so we don't spoil anything, and we can just make sure everybody knows. So just a quick rundown. Your Name, or in Japanese, Kimi no Na wa, is a 2016 Japanese animated romantic fantasy film produced by Comics Wave Films and released by Toho. It depicts a high school boy, Taki, in Tokyo, and a high school girl, Mitsuha, in the Japanese countryside, who suddenly and inexplicably begin to swap bodies. The film was written and directed by Makoto Shinkai in 2014.
Makoto, my boy.
My boy too now, I guess.
It features the voices of Ryanosuke Kamiki and Mone Kamashiraishi. Apologies for the name butchering. With animation direction by Masashi Ando, character design by Masayoshi Tanaka, and its orchestral score and soundtrack composed by Radwimps. Radwimps actually heavily involved in the making of the film, worked with Shinkai directly, actually on the narrative itself to make sure that the music was as perfectly fitting and perfectly suited to the movie as possible.
Cool.
Which
As a
is-
musician, that speaks to me.
For sure, and
That
I think
they
it comes
kinda
across.
Found a
Yeah.
world where like the two drive each other, not the one drives the other, or not, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
I found the music here either giving me chills or like making me want to cry. Either way. So
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
I
dude.
said earlier, man. Like this was like off air. Like I watched them play with an orchestra. It was
Yeah.
friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
oh, so moving.
If we want to get into the music first thing, I'll tell you one thing I noticed too is the opening theme. It's like a Midwest emo pop punk song, dude. So it's right in my wheelhouse. Right away, there's a little twinkly guitar riff and then a quick fucking like a punk
Yeah.
beat on the drums, and I'm like, this is speaking to me right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
awesome.
so good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was a light novel of the same name, also written by Shinkai, published a month prior to the film's premiere. It premiered at the 2016 Anime Expo in LA on July 3rd and was theatrical released in Japan on August 26th.
So
2016.
America first, you're saying?
Yeah.
Weird.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It received generally favorable reviews with praise for the animation, music, and emotional weight. Film grossed over 41.44 billion yen,
It deserves more.
equivalent to 42.28 billion or 387 million in 2019
Yeah, it beat out
worldwide.
Yeah, it beat out Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away.
That's right.
Yeah.
It beat it as the highest grossing.
Yeah.
As a massive Miyazaki fan, I can understand why.
Yeah.
I can understand why.
Well, here's the thing. So, like,
Yeah.
I know that the director is, a lot of people are coining him to be the next Miyazaki, which, from what I heard, he doesn't really like because that's a lot of pressure.
Well, if this is his benchmark versus what's Miyazaki's benchmark, which would be what? Your Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away?
Yeah.
Like, they're not comparable. They're very different movies.
Yes.
Like, I don't see a lot of Ghibli in this aside from like maybe the animation style is a little bit closer.
Even the animation style is different. Like,
It's just that they're both grounded usually
Yeah.
in
Okay.
a real world. That's what
Sure.
I think for me comes across is
Yeah.
that like you've got real environments and real buildings.
Okay,
and
I
it's
see what
not
you're
all
saying.
fantasy. That's what I like about Ghibli too, right?
Yeah. Is
That
it
it's
Ghibli
real.
or Ghibli?
I don't know. I go with Ghibli, but
Okay. I usually
All
go
right.
Ghibli. We'll have to look that up on
all
a
right,
future episode.
my little
for real.
Yeah.
Shweebs army.
Yeah.
What is it, guys? Don't rip into us too hard, though.
Yeah.
Please.
So what else can I even?
Please.
What else can I even inform you guys about here?
So-
Okay. It was also the second highest grossing anime film. Before being surpassed by Demon Slayer Mugen Train
Yeah.
in 2020.
Is that good?
Demon Slayer is fucking awesome.
Okay, we'll set
Okay,
that up
so,
for a future
yeah.
episode too then.
Yeah, because second season's coming out,
Okay.
right? So they just had the first season, the movie.
And it popped the fuck
Yeah.
off in Japan, dude.
Yeah.
It is massive.
Demon Slayer, you mean?
Yeah, massive.
Okay.
Like I have several figures upstairs.
Okay. I think I missed. Did you say when this movie came out? I feel like I should already know that, and I know you said it, but I missed it.
Yeah, so it premiered at the 2016 Anime Expo in
2016,
Los Angeles on July 3rd, 2016.
And when did the Demon Fighter Slayer guy come out?
2020.
Okay, so like for 4 years it held a title.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
As far as awards, it won the Best Animated Feature Film at the 49th Sitges Film Festival, the 2016 Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards, and the 71st Mainichi Film Awards, and was nominated for Best Animation of the Year at the 40th Japan Academy Prize.
Honestly, give it a fucking Oscar, guys. Let's be honest here. Like, I'm right away. My question is, why wasn't this a contender for the Oscars? And if it was, why didn't it win? Like what one
that is a good question.
I'd be curious what won Best Animated Film in 2016 at the Oscars, because it should have been this, no matter what the fuck it was.
Yeah. Well, I agree. This is definitely, as far as like, because this hits our slice of life genre, right? So, but at the same time gives us some awesome fantasy, awesome like time travel, especially with the weird time jump between the 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was. Yeah. Like finding that out, I'm just like, oh shit.
Super clever too, because by making it only 3 years, you don't notice it in the differences in the way they live their life. Like, yes, you have a city boy and a rural girl, and so there's differences there already. But you're not ever thinking they're in a different time, because not a lot changes on
like
on the
3
surface
years,
in 3 years, right? Yeah.
Like it'd be different if it was like, like a decade apart, even.
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
you'll have smaller, more
There'd be a
noticeable
lot more
things,
plot holes in the time travel part of it for sure, if that was the case.
Okay, so the nice thing about
hold on, I just really want to quickly update you guys on your Academy Award question for
Okay.
2016.
Yeah, please.
The winner that year, by the way, wasn't even nominated.
That's a crime.
That's weird.
The nominees
Criminal.
were The Red Turtle, My Life as a Zucchini, Moana, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Zootopia.
Okay,
And
weird.
Zootopia won that year.
I like Zootopia, but like,
Same. It's up
again, dude.
Even
It's
from
up
that
again.
list, I would have picked Moana over Zootopia.
I would have as
yeah,
well. And
same.
I will
actually,
say,
Kudo of Two Strings was pretty good. I did like that one.
yeah,
Amazing.
I don't know if either of you guys saw The Red Turtle,
No.
but I think it was produced or presented by Ghibli. I
Oh, no
might be
way.
mistaken, but it's a really good fucking movie. I
Okay,
wouldn't have
cool.
given it an Oscar, but probably would have nominated this before it as well too.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Like hands down. Also, what the fuck is My Life as a Zucchini?
like, well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory, no?
I guess so. Yeah.
Ask Claude Barris. He'll tell you.
All right. Anyways,
All right. Anyway, so the nice thing about this one is that we don't have to worry about some crazy fantasy world.
Yeah.
It's in Japan.
Sure.
Right. So
Yeah.
we know there's nothing really to explain there. But
Yeah.
what did you think of the art?
dude, right away, striking.
Yeah.
Right away, immediately.
Some of those cutscenes, especially like when doors are opening.
Yeah, I
or
noticed
like,
those same scenes too. They
Right?
were doing a lot of time lapse, which was fucking amazing. And even the comet, every time they show the comet, it's just like a beautiful painting to the point where, dude, I'll turn this right now and show you. Look at my desktop background now.
Oh, guys.
I had to change it.
Yeah, so for our listeners, he's got the friggin' town as his background now.
This is beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Everything about this, like I said before, the art, because being a Ghibli fan and not knowing any other anime, that's the type of anime art I'm used to. And this was like hearkened to that a little bit, I think, especially more so than Soul Eater, which is what we did last episode, which was like my kid could have drawn that and she's 7. So like, I found it super striking, dude.
I think that's the nice thing, because last time we did a series, this time we're doing a feature film, and I noticed that with feature films, they're always going to be much more striking visuals.
Yeah.
Like even the animation where they're going around corners in certain ways in animation, it's going to be way like cool, because especially somebody who knows animation,
Sure.
right, and knows what it takes to actually animate something or has an idea, like that's friggin' hard to do.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. I believe it. And
right?
what I like too is, again, when they make a feature film, they're not making it in the style of like a weekly show for kids. They're making it in the style of like, this is going on the big screen.
Yeah.
Right. And so everything is treated in a different way. And not to mention also too, you're getting a level of cinematography that you're not getting in a TV
Camera
show.
movement.
Yeah,
is
camera
huge.
movement.
The time lapse, the cut scenes, the doors closing you mentioned, all of the landscape and wide shots that were all like fucking beautiful, man. Unbelievable shit.
That early shot when Taki looks up and he sees the comet shooting across the sky from the top of the building, and the camera pans with it.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, seeing a camera pan that dramatic and that dynamic in anime
Yeah.
is like,
Totally.
you really don't get
Oh,
that often.
dude.
It's a
What-
treat.
And that's the thing, right? With the feature film, just like you're saying, that when it pans, it sets a tone, it sets a mood.
Yeah.
TV shows or the series can do that, but it's just way different on a.
It's on a smaller
feature film.
scale. This is a
Yeah.
much grander scale of that kind of thing.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is so nice to see.
There were also like some little things I noticed too, and I guess this counts as art too, but like some continuity things that were just really fucking clever in the art form. So like the one glaring example that stuck with me was when Mitsuha is in Taki's body and she's like sewing up that girl's dress.
Yeah.
She sews a little design with a hedgehog. Later on, you see her on her phone, and her phone case is all covered in hedgehogs, dude. So like in the
see?
art already, they're giving me little things and little like backstories and
Solidifies
Yeah.
her personality.
you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I
feel
love
like you're
little things like that.
So I know that I'm supposed to be the super fan right now, but
Yeah.
like I feel like you're being the super fan.
Dude, I am a super fan of this
It's going to
movie.
be a
honestly.
unique episode.
Yeah, this
for
yeah,
sure.
like I know we kind of already set the bar for episode 1, but episode 2 is just this weird like
People are gonna have
Yeah.
to be telling me to shut up about this for the next little while because literally, like the 2 times I watched it, I go to bed that night with a little shit-eating grin on my face, thinking about how good it is. Like,
Yeah.
it's good, man. It fucking sticks in my head. It's really good.
welcome to the dark side.
What?
welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, give me another Soul Eater next week, and we'll see how I feel about that.
No, but like you having that feeling
Yeah.
you're gonna like
Yeah,
we're
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
telling
good.
you to
Yeah,
shut
like-
up about it soon.
Yeah,
right?
oh,
Like,
okay, I
That's,
see what you're saying.
that's been our whole life, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody telling us to shut up about the
I
damn anime.
totally understand you guys a little bit more now. Yeah.
There you go.
That's funny, dude.
Okay, so we've covered world, we've covered music,
Yeah,
we've
totally.
covered art. Like,
Yeah.
now, what do you think of the plot and the characters?
We can get into this a little bit off the top here. The plot was amazing. Like I said, like a little Freaky Friday-ish.
But here's the thing. So I love that what they're doing with this, because a lot of things that North America does, especially when they do body swapping,
Yeah.
right, is that it's always some sort of slapstick humor around it.
Sure, totally.
Right, like Freaky Friday, right? Like there's some sort of slaps. This is not any kind of slapstick humor. It's like, I see your face.
finish
No,
your-
let me finish my thought.
Okay. Finish your thought.
Right? There's no weirdness. It's just like, oh shit, what is actually happening?
Yeah.
And then they start actually communicating in weird ways, like
Yeah.
right, like using the diary app.
Yeah.
Right? They're taking it in a very serious way.
It's very grounded.
I
Yeah.
will say it grounded, yes. But you cannot say there wasn't some level of like humor that was massive in this part, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
but
the-
you were gonna like. I mean, if I woke up in
Yeah.
a fucking girl's body, yes, I'm
Yeah.
going to touch my boobs.
Yeah, dude,
Well,
if
I guess
I-
technically they're not my boobs.
they are in the
would-
moment.
Now that just now that messes with my head. Like, would
Let's
that
put it this
be-
way,
would
dude.
that
If
be
you're
considered
a teenage boy
yeah.
and you wake up and you have
Yeah.
a great set, you're fucked up for the rest of your life. That's gonna fuck you up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, there was a lot of funny parts.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
for you to say there's no slapstick here, I have to disagree. It was really funny. In
Okay,
fact,
you know
like-
what? I think it's. Let me rephrase that. There's no slapstick, but there was some really well tasteful humor.
Sure, I did find that a lot of the ways they were playing of the body swap, I was like, this is very realistic.
Yeah.
This is how a real human would react and what they would do if they found themselves in another person's body.
Yeah.
It reminded me of do you guys see Chronicle?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
in Chronicle, they discover they have superpowers, and the way they play with and learn about their superpowers was so real. I was like, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
And so I felt the exact same about this movie.
Yeah, no, it's true,
I really
man.
felt that.
Like, I can't speak because I'm a cis male. Like, I
Yeah.
would definitely want to know, how am I going to go pee?
Sure.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, that realization
She did, dude.
when she
That
has to
was
go to
so
the
bad.
bathroom,
Yeah,
she
like,
gets so
yeah.
bummed out about it.
She
She's
walks
like,
out of the
"Oh,
room and she goes,
man."
oh, that was too real. That was the line.
But
Yeah.
then I think later
Yeah.
on, she's just like, oh, God, I got to go to the bathroom. And
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
just dreading it.
Yeah. One thing else I'd say about this movie, is the way that it was written. There were like some themes, like, two specifically that I pulled out that were really heavy and super pervasive throughout the whole thing. One was the gender and sexual orientation fluidity. They played with that in such a nice way. It was so subtle and gentle, but so real. And like, there was no element of it being weird or it being like off-putting. It was just like, this
Yeah.
is what's happening to these people.
I got a question
Yeah.
for you, Jordy.
Sure, yeah,
so
yeah,
when
yeah.
as you were watching that unfold,
Yeah.
was there a certain point where you were convinced that maybe Mitsuha had a crush on the older lady?
Yeah.
That Taki was
wait,
working
yeah.
with?
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
In fact, I think she does.
Yeah.
You know
well,
what I
I
mean?
mean, obviously you see it get kind of mixed with maybe jealousy of her being on the date with Taki as well. I
But
think
even
they
before,
lay that
even
in,
before
but-
that, she's the one who set the date with her and
Yes.
wanted to go on it and was bummed that she didn't get to be in the body when the date happened.
Of course.
So,
no
yeah,
doubt.
100%.
No doubt.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
just very interesting how they did it in a subtle way.
Yeah.
There was even little
was-
things outside of the two of them, dude, where like, for example, when he's sitting in the like basketball court or whatever with his friends and he's back in his body and he walks away and his buddy goes, he was kind of cute yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? But like, that's just another tiny little element of this theme coming through in the movie, right?
See, what I feel like, especially with that kind of stuff, like what Jay was saying, is like your mind is going into this other body,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you're a teenager. Your hormones are going crazy.
Yeah.
So you're going in with a female mind into a male body, but with male hormones.
Yeah.
Right. So do you think that the writer took that into consideration when he was looking at,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
right? Like, so it's not like, where there's subtle hints of maybe Mitsuha is bisexual or anything like that, but rather she's confused because now she's dealing with male hormones. In
Could
a male
be,
body.
dude. I didn't take it that way. Could be, for all I know. I mean,
I think like I totally see where you're coming
Yeah.
from. I see that angle, and it could. I agree, it could be. But for me, like the personalities were so different
Yeah.
when they were swapped.
Yeah.
And it
I
was so
also-
noticeable to everybody around them that I don't know how much was really being changed by their new bodies.
Yeah. I also-
it really did feel like Mitsuha
Totally.
just in Taki's
He's into
skin,
it.
like
Yeah.
purely.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
her
Just
entirely.
wanna like experience all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even before, here's another thing too. Even before they switched, she screams out into the world, "I want to be a Tokyo boy in my next life." So like
Yeah,
even
that's
before
true.
they switch bodies, she's
Yeah,
already kind of
kinda
wishing that.
thinking
So she
that,
has
yeah.
that vibe, right? Plus, like for me, there was a lot of enjoyment to be taken out of that element of it. The whole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to think of it the way you suggested. I like it the way that I thought of it. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, like
I
Mitsuha's
wanna be
sexuality could
ignorant.
totally be fluid here. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's heavily implied.
Yeah.
I was into it. I was feeling that big time. The other theme that I pulled out of it too was there was like a heavy play with the concept of duality. You know what I mean? Everything had a counterpart in this movie. There was a heavy past meets present vibe. The body swapping on its own. The comet splits into two. The movie itself, dude, you were talking about it not being funny. The second act is not funny. The first act's hilarious. You get a comedy movie, then you get a fucking like bomb dropped on you of a twist, and then you get a really serious romantic movie with that little like sci-fi element mixed into it. It was fucking brilliant, dude.
Oh, dude,
Absolutely
yeah,
brilliant.
so good. So,
Yeah.
was there anything about because here's my thing. The other thing that I really love about this movie is that it also really brings in a lot of Japanese culture.
Totally. I
right?
love that as well.
Right,
Yeah.
especially for like trying to get to introduce you into anime and
Yeah.
introduce you to Japanese culture. Like especially when she's making the sake.
The spit booze.
Yeah,
Kuchi Kamizaki,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
literally
Yeah.
translates to like chewed rice sake.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And like she's in the Shrine Maiden
Yeah.
outfit and like doing the dance. Like that's all really beautiful stuff that
Totally.
Japan has to offer.
Even the braiding of the cords and how they explain what that means. That was another element of duality too.
Okay, wait.
sure.
Can we talk about how fucking amazing the art direction went after Taki drank the sake?
Oh yeah, that little trippy time travel scene was unreal, dude.
Oh, dude, it
was unreal.
It was so
Beautiful.
good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so
Really
beautiful. Like
beautiful.
especially very painty.
yeah.
Yep.
Right. Like
The whole
Totally.
style changed.
Yeah.
But even what you were saying about the threads as well, the way they animated the threads being weaved together and all that, like
Yeah.
it was,
Oh.
and sliding the things across, like to tighten them, like it was just all very thoughtfully well done.
Yeah.
So which is funny that you say that because I don't know why. Like I was looking up some stuff online for whatever reason about the movie.
Oh, you mean you came a little bit prepared?
A little bit,
Okay,
yeah. I know. I'm not. Trust me, guys. I'm never really gonna actually be prepared. I'm just gonna come and talk shit.
He just doesn't want to seem like a complete idiot.
No. But this is what I'm saying is so what I didn't find on the internet
Yeah.
that was glaring to me was how much symbolism there was for the red string of fate. Do you guys know about that?
No, I don't know about
That's
that.
right. Yeah, it was actually a factoid I had on my list. But please, Mikey,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah,
going,
educate
dude.
me.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah, tell him.
So essentially, there's like a little bit of a folklore story. It's originated from China, I believe. I'm not sure on the exact etymology of it, but
Sure.
Essentially, there's like an old man on the moon, and he ties a little red string between two people, and that's usually how they fall in love and how they they're connected in a certain way.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like by fate essentially, and like there's always going to be this string kind of tugging you to a certain person.
Interesting.
Right.
Cool. Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
in the whole movie, you have things like, the thread when they're making the ribbons, or you have
Her hair ribbon
She
is the
gives it
main.
to him, yeah.
It's the main.
Yeah,
the main
yeah.
like,
symbol there.
right at the beginning, like
Also, the color of the diverging comet as well.
That's true. There was a blue and a red. The diverging one was red. Yeah, you're
reddish
right.
in hue.
Good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even when he drinks the sake and he goes into that dream state,
Yeah, there is a
the
little red thing following around.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's like everywhere,
Yeah.
like so much symbolism everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's like deep Japanese like culture there.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny, dude?
It's really
Interesting. Just coming to my mind is when the grandma is explaining why they like maintain the traditions and why they're at the monument. She kind of explains it in a way. She's like, we don't know why. We just do it because that's what we've done, and the monument still exists, so we keep doing the traditions. And I'm wondering if that's a little nod to like, oh, it is this red thread theme. Like maybe it was a monument to that concept, and they don't have that background to it anymore, but they still do the braiding of the cords and the, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Her family has, there's multiple reasons her family is the way they are. They're a very traditional family, especially
Yeah.
on the mother's side.
Sure.
She mentions that the body swapping happened to her. It happened to
Yeah.
her mother at separate times as
Yeah.
well. But not only that, the naming of the grandmother, their mother, Mitsuha, and her younger sister
Right.
all correlate to it's like 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3 leaf, 4
Oh,
leaf.
interesting. Cool.
And like that's how they've like have named all the way through. So there's clearly a feeling of tradition going
Yeah.
on in this family. They're very much about passing things down generation to generation. So
Okay.
it all lines up. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
It does, yeah. Interesting.
And not to mention like the nice like point of contention is that the father, after losing the mom, right, like
Yeah.
he's like doesn't want to have anything to do with the traditions anymore.
Cuts
right?
the thread, so
Cuts
to
the
speak.
thread. Yeah. Look at that. Put him.
He feels it though,
Yeah,
man.
he
When
feels
he's got to face down his fiery daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Via Taki and via Mitsuha herself.
Yeah,
two
but they
separate
figure it
times.
out though, right? Like they figure out that this other person is inside their daughter's body.
I love that. They could just
Right?
tell.
Yeah, because I guess that's happened to him before, right? Like his wife,
Yeah.
in theory, would have gone through that. Plus, her mom did too. Like I guess he's been aware.
He may have heard about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
may have
I'm
heard
sure his
that.
wife maybe.
I don't
maybe
think it's
told him.
Knowing,
Yeah, I don't
knowing
think
his
it's
character,
ever
he probably thought she
really-
was fucking crazy and probably cursed her out about it.
Exactly. And now he feels like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so who is your favorite character?
Well, hold on. Are we done talking about the plot here? 'Cause
No, I
have
guess
some more
not. Yeah,
things.
yeah, some other things. Okay.
Okay.
Hit me with
I
it.
think we got to hit some of these gasp moments that you mentioned.
Before we
Yes.
get into that, let's save
Okay.
that because I want to get into some of these nitpicks because I want to make
okay.
Mikey angry for a minute.
You know what? You're right. We've been praising this for too long.
Before we do that, if you're hungry, go make yourself a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Or grab a drink or something, and when you come back, put us on pause. And when you come back, give us a like or subscribe, please. It would mean
Yeah.
a lot. Throw us a review. That would be fucking killer review.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcasts, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Go do that, please.
Anime schmanime.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's us.
Our Shweeb army, Shweebies, my Shweebity Schwoes, do us a solid.
Okay, now I'm gonna make you angry. Probably.
Okay, so now we're back to our regular program.
Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna bring up is
No, I was really enjoying how nice our conversation
we'll get
was.
back to that. That's why I wanted to save the gas moments because we're gonna need that potentially.
Yeah, to
We're gonna
like
probably
bring me
need that.
down.
So the first thing I'm going to talk about is we're obviously dealing with time travel
Yes.
and body swapping.
Yes.
So the timeline's going to be a little confusing at
Yes.
points, especially at the very beginning. So like the time twist, when they drop it explains a little bit of it, but there were some moments that just weren't out of sync. So for example, the opening scene of the movie,
But that's the best.
let me finish.
Okay.
The opening scene of the movie, the two of them are having this kind of inner monologue at the same time about a sense of loss lingers. I feel like I'm searching for something, but that's the end of the movie. So why are you giving me that at the beginning? It kind of felt like I was just getting a trailer.
No, because so if they did it in chronological order,
Yeah.
right,
Sure.
it wouldn't have nearly the same amount of impact, right?
Okay.
Right, because then it's just going to be like, okay, so
Can't
while
o- you can't open with Mitsuha's town getting destroyed. Like
yeah,
No.
Right, yeah.
That's not what I'm saying though. But like you could skip that whole little trailer segment and open with her waking up in her room. Do you see what I'm saying? First of all, dude, in that intro scene, you do get the town being exploded. She's standing there in her traditional dress, watching the comet split, which actually doesn't happen until the end of the movie.
But you don't see the repercussions.
Yeah, you don't see the actual thing.
But they're jumping unnecessarily.
I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you right now. No, I'm saying he needed to set the stage where they connected, right? They needed a point of connection.
But why can't the point of connection just be when they realize they're switching bodies and then build from there? Why did they have to give me that at the beginning?
Because I think he really wanted to play on the red string of fate. Right,
okay.
Right. Having that symbolism, being able to be like, "Oh, Mitsuha actually met you, but you didn't know who he was."
Yeah,
and
but they didn't tell you that in that scene. You didn't get that part of it.
No, but it's
finding yourself like at the end of the story, or like at the end of the thread, so to speak, the red thread, and having to kind of walk your way back along it, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like
we talked about this in the last episode. It just that wasn't explained to me, and so I thought I was just getting a trailer and then the intro music and then the movie started.
So this is where I got to tell to you.
So also the intro music in the movie is like unique.
Yeah.
I love that intro music. We talked about that already, but it's fucking beautiful. Yeah, it was a great song.
That's the thing. The Japanese anime and the Japanese storytelling is a lot of it is based on making either assumptions or exceptions.
Okay.
Right. So just accepting certain things for what they are. Like when you get plopped into a fantasy world, and it's like, you're here, that's it. Accept it. Let's move on, and here's the fucking story.
Yeah, we went at that about that hard last week.
yeah. Right. And so a big part of this too is for this particular movie, it's not so much accepting; it's more assumptions. Right. So you're assuming that there's a lot of these things happen, right? And that's why when the big twist happens, it's such a bigger impact because you're assuming this is already on this particular timeline. It's at the same time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I did feel that, but that opening scene didn't help. To me, it took away because like a couple things, for example, like it made me think the comet was the catalyst for making them switch, which is false. It actually stopped them switching later on, right? So by giving me that scene at the very beginning, it just threw a wrench in the gears of what they were then going to give me, which was the building of how it was all going to work. So again, to me, don't give me the trailer up top. You know what I mean? Just start the movie where it starts, and I'll figure it out because they beautifully did explain it as the movie went on. They didn't need to give me that at the beginning. That's nitpick number one.
Yeah, it's like. No, I disagree. I don't know what else to say.
Disagree and still be friends, but that's the case here. We disagree and we're still friends.
I think there's something to be said about almost, some directors trying to like intentionally confuse their audience at first.
I don't like to be confused.
Just to like really pose that question, like, where is this going?
Yeah, drive that point home.
But I think ultimately, like starting where they started, like you needed to start with Taki. You needed to start with him waking up in the present timeline, the 2016 timeline or whatever. Like that's where the story had to start. In order for there to be any mystery as to what exactly went on with Mitsuha, you have to start with Taki.
But again, they didn't really give you any of that. There was just this little inner monologue about feeling a sense of loss. They showed you the comet. She's in her outfit, and then the movie starts. Yeah. To me, I would have. I think
it's just setting a tone. It is setting a tone. Just accept it. Accept it.
But
this
dude,
is what weebs do. We accept. We accept. Just accept it. Let's move on.
Okay. You need to move on, and that's fine. So we will move on for you.
You just accept it.
Sure. Okay. So if we're gonna talk about confusing timeline, literally the next scene was a little confusing to me. So let me just walk through it the way I understood it, and maybe you can clarify. So. You first, Mitsuha wakes up.
Yeah.
And she's feeling her boobs. She's like, it's so realistic. Yada, yada. She comes downstairs and everyone goes, oh, you were crazy yesterday, right? So when she grabs her boobs in the morning, she's not Taki. She's herself.
No. So what isn't explained there, and actually that got brought up on my most recent watch as well with who I was watching it with.
Yeah.
They don't explain it there, but that is a next day.
Yeah.
There is a skip to the next day there that they do not properly illustrate.
Okay. Yeah, that bothered me. And then also, why, here's another thing. Why does she not remember that first switch and then remember all the other ones and then not forget again until the end? So that first switch,
she thinks it's a dream at first.
But everyone's telling, okay. Oh, that does kind of make sense.
Right? Because it's the first time it's happening. You don't really remember it. And like even when she goes back to school the next day and all her friends are saying things are weird.
She doesn't believe them. She's kind of like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like what's
Yeah,
going
but that's what I'm
on?
saying though. Like if she remembered, she wouldn't not believe them. She would be like, oh, fuck, that was real. Do you see what I'm saying?
That does hit her, but it just it takes a day or two when she
Okay.
realizes, wait,
Well,
I'm
like,
losing time here. I'm losing days.
If you let's look at it in her, and if you put yourself in her shoes, if you had a weird ass day where you're like in somebody else's body, and then you woke up the next day in your own body, and it only kind of was this weird acute thing that happened one time, right? You're not expecting.
You'd write that off at least once.
Yeah,
sure, but then as soon as
100%.
people start telling me things from my dream that actually can't happen in real life, I'd probably be like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah,
that's real.
Didn't she see that from
as
her,
far
though?
as you go.
I guess,
You're like, whoa, fuck, okay, weird.
It just took her a day or
but
two.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going with my life because there's not really much else I can do about it.
I guess that's true. Okay, I'll give you guys that one.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to more nitpicks. So this is a little one, but like there's a bunch of, when she's making the spit booze, there's a bunch of teenagers who are like scoffing at her and be like, that's gross, I would never do that. And it was like they were building a kind of like an inferiority complex in her, which they never fleshed out. It was just one little scene and they moved on from it. I feel like they missed a little bit of an opportunity there.
Well, I think it, you know what, because it's a feature film, right? Like you don't have the same amount of character building as you do in a series.
Yeah.
So like it's just to kind of set the tone that and kind of drive home that she's in high school.
Yeah, I guess
Right.
I could see that. But again, to me, it felt like they were setting something up. They like made a point to make that happen.
There
and
could
then
be
moved on
something
past
to
it.
that, Jordy, because I will say, writer-director Makoto Shinkai
Yeah.
actually did feel like, due to budgeting and time restraints, that this film was, and I quote, incomplete, unbalanced, due to time and budget constraints.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everyone that I'm nitpicking. And I'm sorry. I love this movie. It was fucking really good, but I did make the notes. I watched it with a critical eye, and so we're bringing it up.
I'm just saying, you might have something there that like they may have started to plant seeds there that might have been something he wanted to flesh out, but just couldn't.
Yeah, that just makes me feel bad though, because now I feel like I'm hating on it with good reason, and I don't want to do that because it was so good, man. It's such a good movie.
No, I know what you're doing. You're just trying to get under my skin.
Yeah, and it's working obviously, and it always will.
No, we got one. You gave me one.
Yeah,
I got one.
I know that you're going to keep this one in your pocket for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm
going
gonna bring
forward.
it up.
Yeah.
Do you remember your name? Like episode 100.
Yeah.
Be like, you remember your name? I got that one.
Okay, I'll bring up another nitpick. And again, a little thing, and it's like when they realize finally what's happening to them, they're so much more annoyed with each other than they are amazed or appalled at what's happening to them. Like they spend very little time being like, "Wow, my body switching." It's literally one line. Do you know what I mean? And the rest of it is them being annoyed with each other and how each other is conducting themselves. And I'm just like, I feel like that's a bit of a bigger deal. A bit of a bigger deal.
Well, so here's the thing. I think it's assumed that it's a bigger deal for Mitsuha, right?
Yeah.
Because she actually went to go see Taki.
Yeah.
Right? She took the trip to Tokyo. She
that's true.
did everything.
Yeah.
Right? To be like, I need to meet this guy, right? Like, this is crazy. And then she finds out, like, she's 3 years behind. Like, it's nuts, right?
Yeah, totally.
So,
Okay, well, actually, that's a great segue into the next nitpick. A massive plot hole I found. And you can disagree or you can try and explain it to me, but like, how in the fuck does the dude 3 years later not remember that random girl on the train gives her the hair tie, which he then wears as a bracelet for the rest of his life and still has no memory that happened?
okay.
Because they start switching bodies and he should really quickly be like, oh yeah, the bracelet. Oh, that's the girl from the train 3 years ago.
It honestly, like, and I don't know if this came across perfectly well or if it was fleshed out perfectly well, but the way I interpolated a lot of the forgetting that goes on is they draw a lot of correlation to dreams and feel like you're in a dream-like state. And
I felt like
the
that
longer
was,
you spend out of a dream, the more you forget it. The moment you wake up, you start forgetting that dream.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens with them forgetting the names.
Yeah, at the end.
But when he,
right, like,
but when he is on the train and she comes to him, she's in the dreamlike state, experiencing the body switches. He's not. He's living regular life because that hasn't happened to him yet. Right? Then 3 years later, he starts switching bodies, and all of a sudden, that memory of the person who gave him the bracelet, which he's been wearing for 3 years, just isn't in his brain anymore suddenly.
Yeah, no, like I don't necessarily mean like a literal like he was in a dreamlike state, so
No.
therefore he's forgetting. But I just think they play with that idea a lot.
Yeah, okay,
The
and
idea
actually,
that memory is fleeting.
That
and
is a good point, because remember earlier I mentioned themes, the gender and sexuality fluidity and the duality. I felt like they were really hard trying to like put a dream theme into this, and it just never quite came together. Like
Really?
Yeah,
I
I mean
feel-
it was
I
there.
don't
Of course
know.
it was
Yeah.
there because the sleep was the mechanism for the switching.
Yeah.
And they mentioned dreams a few times, and like Jay just said that the dream is probably has something to do with the forgetting too, but it never quite came together. Never quite materialized in a strong way like the other two themes I mentioned did.
Yeah, but there's a lot of mysticism around this whole movie, right? So
Yeah.
like a lot of that can explain away a lot of things.
It
Right?
do- but by nature, it's not explaining away. Right? Explaining
yeah.
away would have been giving me an explanation. You're telling me I'm not going to get one, and I just need to move on from it.
Right, acceptance. It's the acceptance.
Okay, I'm just pointing out that theme felt a little loose, and if it's going to explain such a massive plot hole like
Yeah.
that, they should
Okay,
maybe
that's fair.
solidify it a little bit more.
That's fair. But you
Yeah.
know what though? Like I do like the fact that they're when they say like he's forgetting the name, like
Yeah.
forgetting the other person, I think that just helps kind of foreshadow how much of that he's forgetting, and like they're gonna forget their names later on
Sure.
in the movie, right? I think that was meant for foreshadowing.
It just to me, it just seemed a little bit like a plot hole, because like they didn't.
No, you're just being fucking nitpicky.
No, well, this one actually was the most real one of all the other
Yeah.
nitpicks, because this one I couldn't explain it in my head. I was like, "There's no way you don't remember." He wore that bracelet for 3 years. He's still wearing it when they're switching bodies.
Well, you know
know
what?
what I
Here,
mean?
let's go on assumptions.
Okay.
Right. Let's go on assumptions.
Yeah.
So essentially, she gives the ribbon while she's being pushed out of the subway.
Yeah.
And kind of throws it to him.
Sure.
Right. And said, "What's your name? Mitsuha." Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Right. Like there's a lot of noise that
Yeah.
could be happening right in a subway like that.
Okay,
right?
dude.
And then
Yeah.
only hearing it once.
Yeah.
Right. It's just this kind of weird.
It's just some
odd-
cute girl who threw
Yeah.
a ribbon at you, so you threw it on your wrist.
Okay,
Like,
but
Yeah, like-
but he's now in her body. Okay, he's her.
No, but
He's
no,
wear-
wait,
no, he's
no,
wearing-
stop. You know, so you got to remember,
Yeah.
he only started switching bodies 3 years after.
I know. I
right?
understand. But
So-
now he's in her body.
Yeah.
Okay. He wakes up as her. He wears that ribbon and doesn't
Yeah.
realize that's the ribbon he's been wearing on his wrist for 3 years.
Yeah, but
He
he's only.
sees the photos of her in her house when he's in her body and doesn't realize that's the same girl who gave him the ribbon. 3
Yeah,
years
but
ago?
he that was only a one chance encounter that had happened. Like,
but by
are you
him-
going to remember somebody's face?
By-
From one point, and
It's
then
not-
not see this person for 3 years and think you're still going to really remember?
By him keeping that on his wrist for 3 years, they're kind of implying that was important to him.
No,
And then-
it's the red thread that keeps them linked
Yeah.
in the background, in the
Okay.
underlying.
So you're
feelings
saying
of
he
this.
didn't like consciously wear it or think about it as he wore it. He just threw it on. And it was on, and then it's a thing.
I think after 3 years, that's the ribbon or the rope he wears around his wrist every day.
Yeah.
That he probably doesn't even think about for months at a time until eventually he's just like,
Yeah.
oh crap, I still got that thing on.
Yeah,
like you got- it's like a piece of
if that
jewelry.
happens,
Stressed out
okay, but
little
even if that
teenager,
happened to
right?
you, and every a few months you go, oh crap, I still have that on from that girl on the subway that gave it to me. You're not forgetting that, dude. Anyways, we can move on from this because it's getting crazy, man.
I think Jordy's a hopeless romantic,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
would just
yeah.
remember his first sight love.
I
Yeah.
would, dude. I would 100%. I like. You're right. I do like trinkets like that. I'll remember where they came from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, like,
I don't know why he wouldn't remember unless again you want to explain it away with mysticism. You can do that if you want to.
Nah,
Don't
man,
take
he
it away
wasn't-
from me.
Low key try to burn me with air quotes.
That was not low key. That was very pointed and direct.
Yeah, it's okay, fair.
Listen, I
Yeah.
think it ultimately more so comes
Yeah.
down to Taki being a teenage boy in Tokyo
Sure.
who's got a billion things going on in his life.
Sure.
Nothing's going right. He's stressed to the gills. He's
Yeah.
working a job he can't keep up with.
Okay.
He's not thinking about what he's got wrapped around his wrist
You're right.
versus what this girl ties in her hair. Like
Yeah.
he's more focused on her boobs probably. You know what I mean? Like
He was definitely focused on her boobs.
Right?
Yes.
And that was fucking hilarious. I have one more nitpick and then we can move on.
Okay.
Okay. So I kind of wish, and I know you're going to yell at me for probably for whatever reason. I kind of wish that the experience that Mitsuha and Taki had didn't also occur to her grandma and her mom. I feel like that didn't give much to the story. Do you know what I mean? They didn't play it up. It was just all of a sudden she got told that used to happen, and then they moved on with the story as it was. It seemed like an afterthought. It didn't really add much to me. It just, I mean, I get why, I guess, you know what I mean? Just to like richen the concept of that, like that sci-fi element. But to me, it would have been just as fine if it was just them two happening. It happened on their own. Like, you know what I mean?
I think because we already talked about how a lot of this already happened traditionally within that family, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just something that they had noticed and accepted. But we don't know to what degree those transitions happen in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's my point, though, is by not knowing and by not filling that in or making it more evident in the story, it seemed a little unnecessary to me. If it was just Mitsuha woke up and her and Taki started switching, the movie would have been just as good, maybe even a tad better. I don't know.
No, you know, like I don't know if I agree that it should be taken out entirely, but I do kind of agree that it doesn't feel like it adds a whole lot of weight, or you know, like if the grandma somehow maybe helped in the end with the operation. And was just like,
here's something that I did when it happened to me that might help you in your situation.
So I have to do this, right? Like have some sort of payoff, or you know, grandma covers for her with the dad while she's off dealing with this, because grandma knows what it's like. Give some sort of weight to it. But you know, again, I think little things like this. My benefit of the doubt wants to just say it was time and budget, but like,
and that's what I was just thinking too. Is now that you've brought that up, I'm like, half my nitpicks now I feel bad about mentioning.
They
tried. They're artists and they made a great movie.
Like, you know what though? Because it's like video games, right? Like there's some like flavor text that they put in video games where like if you go,
you're in a flavor enhancer. That's all, man. That's MSG.
MSG, yes. Fuck, I love it. Right.
And then I guess the real problem here then unfortunately is like I'm watching these movies with the intention of coming in here with a critical eye and having a conversation about them.
Yeah.
If I was watching this without a notebook, would I have noticed that? Probably not.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I feel like you've hit pretty much every like major kind of nitpick somebody could have with this.
I am thorough.
Yeah.
I'm thorough. And also I want to annoy Mikey, so I'm going to write them all fucking down. I'm going to bring everyone up. Why did they slash that girl's skirt? What did that mean?
So actually in Japan,
why didn't he grab her butt?
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
In Japan, there is a really big issue with how aggressive men are, like especially on the subways.
Okay.
Right. They even have a word for it. I don't know what that word is. I don't know if Jay, you want to quickly Google that, but it's like men will go in because it's so crammed and packed in there. They'll like grope women.
But he didn't grope her. He put there's a tiny little slit in her skirt.
But there's just this sense of aggressiveness towards women.
Okay. That to me, that seemed less aggressive and more like petty and fucking idiotic. Like that guy's a fucking idiot, dude. Like,
I think we can agree.
He was meant to be an idiot, but not just an idiot, but also like an annoying asshole. Like, why? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, there's people like that in the world, man.
I guess so.
Yeah. Chikan?
Chikan?
Yeah, CHIKAN, referring to men who grope women on crowded trains.
Again, didn't grope, just took a knife out and put a tiny little cut in her skirt.
Yeah.
That was weird to me.
I ultimately, I think it was a way to illustrate how dangerous and different Tokyo was from Itomori, but also ultimately just to set up that moment of sewing the skirt up.
That was all it served for me. It set up the moment.
Set up that feminine connection that they were going to have. And which her skirt, where else would you go for a feminine connection than the skirt?
I should say,
of course, a male would think that up,
not only
right?
females can sew, so the fact that that's a feminine thing was like, whatever. But
to a male Japanese movie director, probably,
I should also say that scene stood out to me because like that concept of visible mending is becoming super popular now, and like my lady is doing that. Like when I rip a hole in my pants, she'll sew a little design into it. So I was like, this movie could be my life.
Your lady's gonna love that scene. Then.
Yeah, probably she will. The other question I had, which like was weird, was like, why was his face bandaged?
When what?
When Taki is in Tokyo doing his thing and she's in before she's in his body, when he wakes up the first time, he's got like a bandage on his face. And his face is all bandaged up.
I don't remember.
They just don't explain it. There's no explanation. It's just there. Anyways, we can
move on from that because I don't remember.
Nitpicks, plot holes. I wrote them all down. Yeah. Would I have noticed that without a notepad? Probably not. But again, it was there.
Okay, let's. You know what? I need an Excalibur break.
Move on. Okay. I don't think we're gonna get one, but we can move on to some of those like big scenes.
Oh yeah,
that we're all gonna agree were fucking amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So, what were some of your big like gas moments?
The twist. when you first realize they're in different times was very unexpected.
Yeah.
Even though they did a brilliant foreshadowing of it with the braided cords and her explaining how like the times are intertwined and stuff like that, did not see it coming. They were really careful not to imply that up until that point, even to the point where when she's phoning him, or when he's phoning her, and she's not answering his phone, you're not thinking there's a timeline break. But then as soon as they drop that twist, that's the first thing that pops in your head. You're like, that's why his call's not going through. She's fucking dead, bro. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, so there's that one. Well,
So that whole trip, I guess, of them leading up to him going there to visit her too. Like that's like
crazy, man.
just heart wrenching the whole time, man.
Dude.
I will also say one other thing on the kind of on that topic is on the sci-fi element, they kind of like in an ingenious way beat the time travel paradox. You know, the whole concept of you go back in time, you change something, it forever alters, whatever, and it's like a whole paradox. By isolating the town that Mitsuha lives in, and by blowing it the fuck up, nothing Taki could do in the past could have changed the future because it was all destined to explode. Do you see what I mean? And then when he did in the end change it, okay, yeah, then you're back to time travel paradox. But I thought that was fucking brilliant because that also didn't allow you to think in any way, shape, or form they were in different times, right?
He didn't change it. The comet still hit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right.
Still
Yeah.
hit.
But
Yeah,
people
maybe.
still lived. And like, if you're
People
going to talk
lived.
butterfly effect,
Yeah.
I'm sure there were long-term changes or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but I think that's the problem with any kind of time travel movie story or whatever. The paradox is always going to be there, and
Totally.
to some degree, like we were talking about, you know, there's a certain like with time travel, there's a certain level of acceptance that you kind of have to have.
Oh, you have to do?
Yeah, you do.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like
I will on this one, but I refuse to submit that I have to accept
Our
everything.
first shirt is just going to be for Mikey, and it's just going to say "accept it."
Yeah, accept it.
That's
Fuck
it.
you. Yeah,
Accept
exactly.
on the back. Fuck you. On the front, accept it. On the back,
Excalibur break.
Oh man. Okay.
But it's like Interstellar, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think that took this movie took a lot of elements from Interstellar. With
You think so, eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
especially with the time travel coming back into time. Right. Where
I would have never made that correlation, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's true. You're right.
You know what
actually.
I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Like so I think again, part of it is accepting. But let's move on to the next gasp.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next gasp is that whole scene on the edge of the crater with the two of them was fucking too much, dude. I had goosebumps the whole time,
and like,
I was like,
at the twilight, right? Where,
yeah,
where
dude.
it's like
even before that, when they're running around at each other, dude, I'm holding my face.
Yeah.
Like it was intense.
Yeah.
and
And again,
calling for each other, and they can just hear each other's
dude,
voices,
and,
but
then-
they can't see each other yet. And you're looking along the crater. You're like, are they there? You're looking for a
is
little
it going to
speck.
work, or are they crazy?
Yeah,
exactly.
They must be at opposite sides.
That's what I thought too. And then they see each other, and we talked about earlier how like it was very real, the reactions of like how they were reacting. She gets so fucking pissed off at him, dude. And I was like, that's so real too, because you see the guy that's been grabbing your boobs for a month. You know what I mean? And if I start screaming at him. I love that, dude. I loved it. I found it was very, very, very real. Do you know what I mean?
And I think it illustrated like just how comfortable they were with each other at that point.
Yeah.
Like they were arguing like an old married couple.
Totally.
Well,
at that
they
point.
knew each
You're
other's
right.
lives
So
inside and
intimately,
out,
the most
right?
intimately you possibly could know.
Yeah.
Well, like even like when she wanted to go out on that date, like trying to help him out by giving him like date advice and stuff like that. Also, just to tag on, like, you know how most cheesy like rom-coms or whatever, like they always end up kissing, but the fact that they didn't kiss,
I didn't think about that, but that's
Right?
smart. You're right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just love that they wouldn't go into those weird little like tropes, because I think that if they did kiss, that would have taken away
You're right.
a little bit
You're right.
for me.
It was more unique this
Yeah.
way than it would have been if they had gone in that direction. So one thing I'll say about that scene is I kind of when they first met each other, they switched back into their own bodies suddenly, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I kind of wish they stayed in the other person's body. To be honest with you, because I actually think that Mitsuha is better as Taki. To be honest with you, she's a great Taki, and he's kind of a shitty Taki. So to me, that would have been amazing. To be honest with you,
No, but they had to, because Mitsuha was the only one that was going to be able to convince her dad.
Yeah.
Right. Like even when Taki went to go try to convince Mitsuha's dad.
Yeah.
To evacuate the city.
Yeah.
Like
They had to switch
yeah,
back.
they had
I know
to,
you did, but
right?
like in that moment, like again, the twilight mechanism, jumping them back into their own bodies, again, wasn't kind of explained. And up until then, sleep had been the only mechanism. So I wasn't expecting them to be each other. And because they switched, all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's a bummer. I was kind of hoping they would meet up to each other and experience each other for the first time as each other. as opposed to experiencing each other for the first time as themselves. You know what I mean? But that
I
was
hear you.
just
I will say the Twilight thing was mentioned probably twice in the movie prior to that. Like they mentioned Twilight being kind of like a magic hour.
yeah, and I think the grandma
happen.
talked about it and the whole concept of the netherworld, which is where they were up there, right?
Exactly,
So,
right. And in order for the two timelines to actually cross, they needed to do a quick switch back. And I see what you're saying though. Like
and again, it was fleeting. It didn't bother me. It was just a thought I had. It would have been a cool way for them to meet as each other first.
Sure.
So now the fucking pen drop, dude. I lost my breath, dude. When that pen, she's in the middle of speaking, in the middle of writing her name, and
music is going.
pen drops, and I was like,
Yeah.
I felt my heart jump, dude. Honestly, both times. And the second time, I knew it was coming, and I couldn't stop.
You know what?
I couldn't stop
Honestly,
myself.
I feel
Doesn't
like
change ever.
I feel like
I'm
the
just
reason
right now thinking about it, man. It's crazy.
the reason why she didn't stay,
Yeah.
because Taki didn't actually write what he was supposed to write.
I thought it was just because the
I was gonna
Twilight,
say
the sun
Twilight
was going
ended.
down.
No.
That was my interpretation.
Yeah.
No, I feel like because they're connected. They wanted to remember each other's names so badly.
But she didn't make that realization until she had already fallen on the ground and then looked at her hand.
Well, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, right? Like, but she wouldn't know.
But
right?
also that can't be though, because he had written, done, and then they were talking, and she was like, it would have happened as soon as he wrote it, right? Like, why did they give it a little break?
I don't know.
She
Maybe
didn't-
I
she
just
didn't
want to
know.
believe.
This is another moment where I
Right.
don't want to think of it that way, and I want to think of it this way because it means more to me this other way.
I do my best not to do this, but like I definitely go with Jordy on this one. Like,
What do you mean you do your best not to do this? I make very good points, and you can agree with me whenever you want.
No, I think.
He's anime team, man.
He's neutral. He's neutral.
I think she assumed the name was written, went about her business in the hurry that she was in. She had plenty of reason to hurry.
Yeah.
And then didn't realize till she fell and
Yeah.
then looked at her hand and then she was like,
She didn't know. She didn't know time
'cause
was running
at
out.
that moment, that was when it kicked back into her head. Like, I've been running around. I was telling myself to remember. And then
Yeah.
she starts trying again. And then she looks at the hand and she's like, fucking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That moment.
Oh,
that was the
God.
one. That was
When you find out what he wrote
Yeah.
instead of his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that you didn't cry in this movie.
I felt feelings, dude, but like,
Yeah,
I don't
like
know,
that
whatever.
one was like
Gets me
single,
every time.
yeah,
Yeah.
single tear moment, like,
Yeah.
just like yes, let's,
Yeah.
my soul, my heart, everything. You
And
can have it.
How about
you can
for,
have it.
for a guy that was like constantly fucking up for
Yeah.
most of this movie.
Oh, to finally pull a good guy move.
Yeah.
To do
Yeah.
the most unbelievable good
Right.
guy thing and
Yeah.
just say the most important thing that she needed to hear at that moment.
Yeah.
Far more important than what his name actually was.
Yeah.
Was just to hear that from him. It was
Although
like,
it
holy-
did also kind of ruin their chances of them remembering. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was.
He didn't
yes,
know
it
that.
was. Well, I mean, how could he not?
But you know what,
It needed
though?
to be the names for them
Yeah,
to
I think
remember.
it was a fun thing for
Yeah.
him to do.
It was fun. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I liked it, but it did need to be the names if they were going to remember.
the
and
red
he chose
string
not to
of
put the
fate.
names.
But
It's
I
the
think,
red
I think
string
him
of
saying,
fate.
hey, let's write our
Yeah.
names on each other's hands so we don't
Yeah.
forget. I think that was more of like a fun thing he was trying to do. I don't think he actually believed
Oh,
that
I
he was
see.
on the edge of forgetting her
Sure,
forever.
and it was also a throwback to earlier on when they were like switching bodies. They were writing frantic messages to each other on
Right.
each other's arms,
Yeah.
right? So it was a throwback to that. So yeah, I get you there. That was fucking nice. And again, I felt strong feelings in that scene.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the pen dropping. That the way it was so sudden.
Yeah.
It just hurt me, dude. It hurt me in a way that I don't think I'll ever recover, man. I don't think I'll ever recover. Yeah. Oh, one thing I'll also mention is I watched it twice. I watched it in subs first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I watched
Interesting.
it in dubs.
Let's hear it.
I didn't find much of a big deal of a difference.
Are you
Okay.
kidding me?
Okay.
Are you
But,
kidding me?
dude? I'm sorry. It's just.
I haven't seen the dub, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, dude.
I know. I don't even have to watch the dubs, and I know.
Being a white Western person, the inflections of the Japanese voices and the emotions of the Japanese voices don't necessarily sink into me in the same way. You guys have a massive, rich history of watching anime, so you can react to those things better. I don't.
Yeah.
So for me, even though maybe the voice acting in the dubs might have been poor by your standards, to me it was fine.
No, I think good dubs can
Yeah.
exist. I think that there
Rare.
are good voice
Rare.
actors out there
Sure.
who do very good performances.
You'll have
but
to watch it and tell me.
Sure, I think
Yeah.
I think the ultimate rare thing is when the dub is superior
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
the sub,
that's
and I
also
think
true.
that is almost never.
Yeah.
Okay. One glaring difference between the sub and the dub that will hurt you and will make you fucking angry
Yeah.
is they didn't subtitle any of the Japanese writing on the screen. so you don't know that he wrote "I love you" on the hand. It just didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
You didn't get it.
Does on my
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Does it? Oh, I illegally streamed it. Don't tell whoever made it who I love, and I'm sorry, and I will pay for your movie now because it's fucking amazing.
We'll edit that out. Don't worry, Shinkai. We got you, bro.
No,
Yeah,
we're
but
keeping
that
that in.
hurt me, dude.
I have control over the editing. I'm the editor.
That's a bad idea.
Sorry, we'll keep that in.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jordy.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it bothered me that
But
was.
it's the
not there.
localization, and we've talked about this before, right? Like, because in Japanese, you say like oni-chan, right? And
Sure.
when you put that into dub, it's like brother,
Big bro, big bro.
bro.
Like, who calls their brother like
yeah,
that?
like if we
Yeah.
don't say that in English or in any kind of Western,
Yeah.
right? Like the localization
right.
is weird. Like you would say Jordy,
well,
right?
In that regard, I don't feel like I got that kind of translation in the dub. I feel like maybe they did a better job. You guys will have
I
to weigh
get
in
that
when you watch
concern.
it.
I do
Yeah.
get that concern from
Yeah.
you, Mikey. But I also think that's something that could probably be worked around by like a good studio that's aware
Yeah.
of
Good
those
translations
things.
Yeah,
and good
with-
voice
with-
acting.
And
with
instead of
localization,
sure.
but
instead of
much
Big
better
Brother, Big
localization,
Brother,
yeah.
it's Taki. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're just smarter about that,
Yeah.
right?
And I think again, maybe I'm wrong because I didn't notice a difference, and maybe I just am an idiot. But like, it could have been a better one. You guys will have to decide, or just choose to never, and we'll leave it. At
I'll
that.
never watch it. Though.
Okay. We can move on and plot wise, and then like that's all the big moments. But then there was this like big hang where you think everybody's still dead. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't answer you right away, and then for a while you don't know, and you do know because it has to go there in the end. It had to.
But that's a great thing about this
Yeah.
writing,
Yeah.
right? Because it forces you to sit in it.
Yeah.
A lot of movies,
Totally. You're
especially Western and Hollywood movies,
Yeah.
right? We're so used to instant gratification that, like, we're going to get that answer right away. We know,
Yeah.
right? Where a really good movie is going to make you sit in those feelings. It's
Yeah.
going to make you go through the emotions, make you contemplate, make you reflect.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, I had a lot of time to think about that "I love you" on the hand and that pen drop during that scene where you don't know how it's going to turn out. And it was good. It was really good.
That I love you. I just fucking soul crushing. Just soul crushing.
If we're going to talk, gratification is a great segue to my kind of last point. And this is good. It's a bummer to end on a nitpick because I fucking love this movie and I'm sorry for nitpicking it, but the movie was great. It was really good and I will be watching it again and I highly recommend watching it. But I can't decide if the movie would have been better if they didn't meet in the end. If they just passed by.
There was a rumor.
No.
There was a rumor going around when this movie first came out.
Yeah.
That was the original ending.
And
it got a lot of popularity.
Yeah,
And a lot of people felt like that was the way that it should go.
because here's the thing. Don't get me wrong.
Shinkai debunked that and showed like the original
It was always supposed to end this way?
Always supposed to.
So
Yeah.
I love a happy ending. Don't get me wrong. I'm a sucker. I'm a hopeless romantic. We've established that already. But I just feel like they just gave it to you. And I feel like if you want to talk about sitting in your emotions, I would have sat in a dark room staring at a blank screen for hours. If they didn't meet each other at the end, that movie would have ended and I would not have moved. You know what I mean? And so to me,
But I think they had to, right? With the amount of symbolism towards that red thread of fate, like
Yeah.
it just they had to
Okay.
meet,
Okay.
right? Well, my thing
see
is
ya.
that the director brilliantly ended it right there, just asking what your name is, right?
yeah,
Because
sure.
I hate, like, I don't know why but I hate like epilogues,
Yeah, they didn't need one in this.
right?
They
Like,
didn't need that in
right?
this
Like,
at
I
all.
just like the fact that they met. Okay, great, and now
Yeah.
we can make an assumption of what's going to happen, or just kind of
Yeah.
have this satisfying feeling is that it's there, like the possibilities are there.
Yeah.
Right. So
they found each other. That's
yeah,
that's all that
that's
really
it.
matters, right? But how crazy was that like fake out where they walked by each other?
Yeah.
And then
there
they
was
stopped,
a
you're like,
and again, they could have
Yeah.
ended it there for me, to be honest with you. I actually do. The more that I think about it, the more I think that like the movies that sit with me longer when they're done are the ones where like they don't wrap up in the end. You know, there's questions. There's I get to create a theory in my mind or something. Do you know what I mean?
But that's you still get to do that with this. You don't know what their life is going to be like
I
after.
don't care
like,
about what that wasn't. I don't care about what their life was going to be like. The whole point of the movie was, are they going to remember? And in the end, the answer was Yes, they're going to find each other.
They don't. They don't technically remember. They just know that there's.
They remember enough to recognize each other.
No, they
And
remember
to run off the train and
Yeah.
run across
Exactly.
Yeah.
They remember enough.
Okay,
My
fine.
point is, if it was just a couple of inklings and flashes and like, huh? On top of that
Yeah.
monologue of like a sense of loss, I feel like I'm always constantly searching. The end would have been great. But
You're right. I think it would have been great too because it would have shown like these two people are walking by each other probably every day.
who knows how
There's
many times?
every opportunity for them
Not
to
to
find each
mention,
other.
then your brain starts to go like, who else is that happening to in this world? Do you know what I mean? Like you can.
Could I be walking by my forever person every single day and not know
Dude,
it?
Yeah.
it really brings it into the real world. Whereas, like, no offense, but like the ending of this movie is not a real world ending.
No, but I mean, at some point though, it's still a movie.
It's a sci-fi movie with time travel elements. I get
Well,
that.
like,
Yes,
the
yes,
great,
yes.
the great push
Yeah.
and pull of this movie is
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
realism,
there's-
grounded realism and
Yeah,
magic.
right. Because
I
that's
w-
the
yeah.
thing.
Magic love.
You still want to have something that's like whimsical and going to bring you those feelings. Like if it was too real,
Yeah.
right?
But to me, them not meeting would have been the more whimsical ending. And it would have given me more feelings than this in the end. Because I already got my really good big moments of like them meeting up on the edge of the crater. Do you know what I mean? The I love you on the hand. Those were the good red thread connection moments. Those were those good moments.
Then
Do you
you
know what I
get
mean?
the cut after that, so then they need to mend it.
Yeah.
You liked it cut.
I wanted at the end.
because you're
right.
a sadistic fuck.
Maybe I am, dude.
A hopeless romantic and a sadistic fuck.
Maybe, dude. Hey, honestly, there's worse ways to be.
Best of both worlds, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, what would you rate this movie? General? No, you know what? Let's rate the two main characters.
Sure. What you like? Rate them out of 10?
Yeah, like as far as likability.
I mean, Mitsuha is my girl, dude, and honestly, she's also my guy because when she's Toki, I like him better. So like
Taki, yeah,
Taki,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, she's fucking. I'm not going to give them numbers.
Okay.
But I'll say they were both very likable.
Yeah.
I will reiterate that Taki was a better character when she was in him, but that just made the movie better, dude.
Yeah.
That just made them switching so much better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do feel like Mitsuha really kind of made the movie a little bit more, like really pushed the
Yeah.
story, really
Totally.
brought like a lot of the life into this movie.
I agree.
Taki's supposed to be, I think, a bit of the shithead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She brings the best out in him, obviously. And,
Totally.
And, he obviously brings something out in her as well, right?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
They play off each other super, super well.
They really did.
So I'm gonna say, Jay, you're a Mitsuha girl.
I think she's definitely the more likable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Taki's a bit of a shit. You know what I mean? He's kind of he's kind of
fucking idiot
yeah,
guy,
he's
yeah.
kind of fucking up. You know what I mean? Like he's got a lot of
He
opportunity.
is a
Dude.
15-year-old kid.
His
he's doing what
complaints
he's
to
supposed to
her.
be doing.
His complaints to her were all like, "Stop spending all my money. Stop ruining my relationships." You know what I mean? Stop planning dates for me. Her complaints to him were, "Don't touch my boobs," which also makes him an asshole. So in both complaints, he's the asshole. Do you know what I
And
mean?
her complaints to him
Yeah,
were
that's
like,
true. That's
how
fair.
could you fuck that date up so
Yeah,
badly?
yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
All right, general 1 out of 10. What would you rate this movie?
I almost never give tens. And so I still won't, but only for the reason I don't give tens, dude.
Like,
Why? Why not give
hold
it
on,
a 10?
hold on. Is there any perfect 10 film for you?
I'd have to spend some time thinking about that, dude.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like,
He's like
don't
CGC, man.
You can find something wrong with anything.
Yeah.
eh?
probably, yeah. If I sit down with a notebook and watch something with a critical eye, I'm gonna find something.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I'll give it an easy 9. I'll even give it a 9 without even blinking an eye.
You won't even give it like a 9.9?
I
Give it a 0.5?
I mean, but why? Do you know what I mean? It's a 1 to 10. Let's leave it
Okay.
at a 9.
Okay.
You know
Jody's
what I
gonna
mean?
stick the whole numbers.
Let's
That's
put it this
fine.
way.
Whole
If I-
numbers.
if I was a
friendly
guy-
numbers. Math isn't good for him.
Fuck you, buddy. Now I'm the fuck you
Decimals?
guy. If I was a guy who gave 10s, this movie would be getting a 10. But typically that's not my style. We'll see if you can. And also it leaves room and it's a challenge for you. Show
Yeah.
me a 10 one day, buddy. You know what I mean? Show me a 10 one day.
yeah, I know that's tough.
Yeah.
Because, I usually don't give 10s either. I have a hard time giving 10s.
Mike, if you don't give this a 10 right now, I'm
What's
ending
your
the
rating, you
podcast.
son of a bitch?
I'm giving it a 9.5.
Oh, you just had to give me a little beat there, but not go to 10. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Maybe a 9.6.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
What about you, Jay?
I'm not gonna stick to whole numbers. I got too much nuance for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see? The real fans come out.
Yeah, I'll give this a solid 9.5 as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
You know, I do feel a little bit of what Shinkai was saying about this, maybe being a little bit rushed.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like this would have been like a perfect 2-part movie.
Yeah,
Like if
I could
they
see
had
that.
just split this up and taken a bit more time with each, kind of section of this, like really fleshed out everything, leave no plot line, unturned.
Yeah.
Well, what was the runtime on this?
Would have been perfect.
The runtime was what, like hour and a half,
40, I think.
hour and 40. Yeah. So if
yeah.
even if they made it like 2.5 hours, like
So here's
that would
the
have been
thing:
perfect.
if you made it a 2-part movie, though, like the movie as a 1 hour 40-minute movie had that perfect part 1, part 2 vibe already. If you make it a 2-part movie, you're going to get 1 comedy movie and 1 serious movie.
Sure.
The way they broke down those 2 parts in 1 movie worked. If you break down those 2 parts in 2 movies, you're going to miss the connection between the 2 of them. So like I'm kind of more in the camp of like give it a 2 hours, give it a 2.5 hours, give it a 3 hours, make it a 3-show miniseries, or something would have been nice. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, it's fucking amazing, dude. You guys almost peer pressured me into saying 9.5 there, to be honest with you. It's fucking really good. Yeah, it was a really good movie. Yeah.
All right, that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening in or watching.
Yeah.
If you guys can go like, subscribe, do
Please
all that
do.
good stuff,
Yeah.
comment, we'll interact with you. Actually, I will, because Jordy's a jerk.
I will too, guys, because some of you guys will agree with fucking me and not him. That's going to happen, dude. You have to realize that.
Fair. All right, fair.
Yeah.
Well, where's my Shweeb army? My Shweeb army. All right. So also go check out Hangar 91. We'll put the description and the link below.
Yeah, go do that.
Get some anime shirts, y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get some anime shirts. And then
I don't know,
any
you can
plugs?
find me on Instagram at reaching in, and I do some shit sometimes with music, and you'll see me posting about it.
Yeah,
there.
well, you know where to find all that stuff. Let's be real, guys. You guys know how to use
This is the main
social media.
though, y'all. This is the main. Hit it
Yeah.
up. Subscribe, like, comment. All
Yeah.
that stuff helps us.
Yeah, it really does. Thank you guys for watching or listening. Really appreciate it. Please go watch this movie. Please. Highly recommend.
Great movie.
Yeah.
All right. Anime Shmanime. Peace.
Peace out.